today I'm gonna be upgrading our trios. And let's hit the creative button and let's get scratching. We start with a cat. Now let's rename it to cat. And then go to backdrops and click to the backdrops and convert it to vector. Go to the fill button and you make it to pure black. There we go. And then go to the cat sprite and delete the second costume of it. And when green flag clicked, we add a forever loop. We point towards the mouse pointer and we go to the mouse pointer. And this would be not that smooth, and it's kind of glitched out. So let's use a change X and a change Y by the minus and the divide, and put the minus to the left side of the divide, and we just duplicate it and put both of them into the change X and change Y. Secondly, we put the mouse X in sensing category, put it first right there, and then we minus it by the X position and the Y position, and we minus it by 2.5, this one by 2.52, and yep, it works perfectly. No more glitching, and it goes smoothly. And if we take out this point towards, then this will happen, and we don't want that. And then first we need to reposition it in 0 and 0, and we just make it point towards that. And then let's create a clone of myself. And when I start the clone, we go to my blocks, we create a new block, naming it create input clones of, and then label of clones. And do not tick the one about screen refresh because we don't want that. And let's define it. So first we put the create clones in there, and then when I start and we define the clones, repeat clones. Okay, so we change color effect by 10, and then we change ghost effect by also 10, and then on top of all of that we change size by -5, and then in here we set the size to 100. And then we'll delete this clone. And then we'll create a new variable. Let's delete this one for any confusion, and naming it clones for all sprites. Now when we put clones right here, and we make it to a slider and put it right there. And then we change slider range, and this to 0 and this to 60. We don't want it too many, so we just put the clones into here, and now we don't have any clones, but when we make this up, look at that. and if we make it by -10. This looks more beautiful, kind of good. So maybe we'll do it -8. Yep, that is good. So for me, I'll use -10. You could use any of it, or you just need to create a new variable, naming it size for all sprites, and put the size, then change the slider, and then change size by the negative. And you could use a join negative by size, but for the mathy way, just use 0 minus size. Put that in there, and then we put change slider range to 0 and 10. And first, we need to set clones. For the manyest is 10, and we set the size to 10 because I like it too. And yep, because the clones. So first we need to put this to size, and then yep, works perfectly. And also we need to do change slider range to the maximums is -10, and the minimum is -5, or 0 if you want, because we didn't save it. So make sure to save yours, and I'll just do it again. -10, and okay. So now it works perfectly. Then we could slide it down by -4, and then it goes very big. And for -10, it goes very big because it says the negative, and this, if this is negative, then it will go very big. So first, are you serious? So the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 10. That's worth it. So now it works perfectly, and for 0, nothing. And then what we need to do is create a new sprite, and we paint it. And first we put it into pure black, and then we fill it with a red color and make it to a pixelate. And then we said to round clones. And then we'll just make this like that. Now let's go to the sprite and change the slider range to 0.0000 and to 60.000, and okay. Now we'll be in decimals. Yay! And if we don't want that, then we just need to reposition it right here. And then we'll just make this to fill it with a red to that color, and then we'll just put it into the corner, I guess, like that. No, that corner. Okay, and then one green flag clicked. If else into forever loop, if touching mouse pointer, then we'll set the size to a minus and a divide 2 by the size when you go down there, 300 minus size divided by 2. Then you just need to duplicate this and make this a smaller number, about 250. And now, yep. Also, we need to make this to front layer. Go to front layer. So now, look at that. And then, if we're touching the mouse pointer, and another if we are, well, key is down, and when we're finished, we wait until we are no longer, mouse is down. And then, if we're still touching the mouse pointer, then we set clones and put it to the forever loop. We set clones to around the floor, duplicate it, and the ceiling. We could pick random, put that in there, and floor and round and ceiling of clones and clones. We could do the same with size if you want, and you just need to set the size like that, and make sure the size to have a point in the change slider range. So now if we put it like that and we click this, goes to 31 because it rounds. Yep, it rounds. So this will be the end of the episode, and save your project. No, not an episode, this tutorial, and bye all.